Hello, everybody. It's Chris here from the Whistle Stop Cafe in Mirror, Alberta. As you can see, I'm not in jail. I'm at home enjoying some time off with my girlfriend and a couple of our puppies who are crazy, and you're probably going to hear them in the background shortly. Anyway, today there was a slew of messages and emails asking about how the day went, what happened in court, what's going on, that kind of thing. And I realized it's going to be impossible for me to answer all of those questions. So I will do individually. So I'm going to do my best to answer your questions in this live stream. So today's court appearance, basically what happened is AHS spoke, or their AHS's lawyer spoke, my lawyer spoke, and then I was afforded the opportunity to speak in court, which I gladly accepted. The judge, Justice Germain, is going to reserve his ruling on my sentencing on October 13th. So I guess we have to wait to see until then what my consequences for my contempt of court charges are. I did make it very clear in the proceedings, and I'd like to make it clear to everybody here that my contempt has never been with the courts. My contempt lies solely with Alberta Health Services and the Alberta government. And the reason for that is both of them have severely and catastrophically mismanaged the situation in Alberta in the last 2 years. They've caused a likely irreversible divide in society. They've cost lives. And I'm not talking about just people who have passed away with COVID. I'm talking about the thousands of other people that have passed away as a result of bad government policy, poor management on AHS's part. And no, I'm not talking about the nurses and doctors. I'm talking about the bureaucracy. Lives were lost because of both of those things. And lives continue to be lost because of the ego of the people who are handing down these mandates and seemingly will do anything to prove that they're right. So there's probably some of you out there that are thinking that I should be, incarcerated for the rest of my life because people are dying in Alberta and it's all the unvaccinated's fault, and I should be getting vaccinated and pushing those around me to get vaccinated in order to stop this pandemic. Well, I think you people need a reality check. Shit, I said you people. Whatever. I don't work for a sports network, so I guess I'm not going to get fired for that. Any of you who are thinking along those lines need a reality check. There are other jurisdictions and countries around the world who are experiencing extremely high COVID cases right now. And in those jurisdictions, it is largely the vaccinated that are in the hospitals. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is that different from Canada? And my thought is, it's probably not. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you right now on Monday. File a Freedom of Information request to the Alberta government. And I want you to ask this question. How many people in the hospital right now, in ICU or just in the regular admission, are in the hospital with COVID who have received their first and or their second or third dose of the vaccine, who have not been counted as vaccinated people because it's been less than 14 days? That question holds a lot of power. If the Alberta government and AHS come back and say that the people in the hospital with COVID right now are largely vaccinated but not considered fully vaccinated because the time period in which they got their vaccine isn't long enough, that's going to tell a story, just as it has in other countries around the world. There are other countries right now who have they've abandoned their plans for vaccine passports. They've realized that this is a personal choice. They've stopped. They've stopped claiming control over their citizens' bodies and their health, and things are changing, but they're not changing in Canada. And I would say that's largely because of egos. Our premier is extremely egotistical. And if you've ever had a conversation with one of the MLAs, you would know that as a fact. He is a spoiled politician. It's his way or the highway. If you disagree with him, if you stand up and speak out against him, he will punish you or remove you. But he can't remove me. As a matter of fact, everything he's doing right now is laying the groundwork for me to take one of those jobs where I can actually challenge the premier in caucus. And it's not only me. There's thousands of other Albertans and Canadians that are starting to wake up and realize that it's important that we take a stand, and not only take a stand, but we get involved to the point of becoming people who are involved in enacting laws ourselves. We need to be the government. We need to get involved in politics. If you watched any of Maxime Bernier's speeches, he has a common theme, and that's common sense. Maxime Bernier, I watched a video of him today at the Strathmore rally for the PPC, and he said, I don't want to get this wrong, he said, when tyranny becomes law, revolution is our duty. It absolutely is, 100%. And that's the reason why me and hundreds of other people like me are doing what they're doing. Is because we've realized that if we don't take a stand and say something and try and make change, who will? If you don't try to make change, who will? Are you going to rely on me to do it? I'm not perfect. I could fail. I could stumble. Then where we're at? Then where are we at? It's each and every person's responsibility to stand up and try to be the, what's the word? And try to be the change that they want. And that's going to become more and more apparent in Alberta over the coming days and weeks. I do think there's some big news coming out of the UCP caucus next week. I'm very excited to hear that. There's been some very amazing advancements on calling for a leadership review of the Premier, opening the door for a strong leader who will actually do what he says he's going to do, work for Albertans, listen to those around him. I really do believe as a leader, it's important to surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people that not only agree with you, maybe they disagree with you, but you need to surround yourself with people who want to accomplish the same thing that you do. And in my case, I want to accomplish, I've said that I want to gut the government. I want to gut AHS. And it's not because I believe that both of those things are not needed. I believe that both of them, along with other agencies, have become so bloated, so corrupt, that they're no longer representing the best interests of the people they're supposed to be serving. They see themselves as kings and queens of the subjects of the people of Alberta. They don't see themselves as leaders who were there to motivate, guide, and direct the path of the province. And I have a really big problem with that. I have a really big problem right now with the media and the government trying to create more division by blaming unvaccinated people for the the critical condition of our hospitals. It's not the unvaccinated's fault. It's Alberta Health Services and the government. They knew this was going to happen. They didn't take steps. We don't have our 1,000 new ICU beds like they promised last year. They had time to prepare. But instead, our premier was off on vacation. Minister Shandro was completely silent. our CMOH was completely silent as well until she stepped forward and said that she apologizes for opening the province up again. That's not the apology we need. The apology we need is, Alberta, we're sorry that we didn't prepare for this and plan for this. We're sorry that we cut doctors and nurses and frontline workers' wages after they got us through our situation. They need to apologize for mismanaging a huge budget for healthcare and not preparing our healthcare system and infrastructure for things like this. It's not the unvaccinated's fault. It's not the vaccinated fault. It's not anyone in particular in Alberta's fault. It is our government and Alberta Health Services. They both failed us. They both need to be gutted, and they both need to be rebuilt with Alberta's best interest in mind. And that's going to be my mission in life now. So, Premier Kenney, you're going to see very shortly that a burger flipper from small town, rural Alberta can make a difference to the point of motivating people to remove you from your position. Alberta Health Services, you're going to see that the people of Alberta will hold you accountable, regardless of whether or not you feel like you're protected by the Public Health Act that indemnifies you from any wrongdoing you could do in the course of your duties. It's very simple. We're not going to be distracted anymore. We're not going to be fooled. We're not going to hang our hopes on what the media is telling us. We're going to ask the hard questions. You're going to answer them, and then you're going to be held accountable. And that's going to happen whether I'm in jail or not. So, Alberta, I hope you're ready for this for the next few weeks. It's going to be a very wild ride. And I would just like to say thank you very much for everybody who reached out to me today to ask me how court went or how I'm doing or what's going on. I really appreciate that you guys are taking time out of your busy days to think about me. In the grand scheme of things, I'm a very insignificant piece of the universe, and it really does mean a lot to me that you guys and gals out there are thinking about me and praying for me. So, let's cooperate. Let's be Albertans. Let's be Canadians. We're going to take our province back, and we're going to live the free lives that we're supposed to. Anyway, have a great night, and we'll chat soon.